Game, record, and stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
Going to dominate the game!
Going to change towards Bustle. It's a double kill for Blizzard while Paddling is on the run. Signify on the cusp of gaining victory here. Going to try and get the bomb down. Much less no idea. Something to find an ace. He's going to find a kill and get the second one as well.
Everybody, welcome to another beautiful day in the ESL India Premiership Winter Season Phase 2. I'm your host Angela, and this event is brought to you by Omen, by HP, Zai, by BenQ, HyperX and Tel, and organized by Nodwin Gaming. I know we have started late, but the reason for that is that we're going to have only 2 games for today. It's going to be Clash Royale and Dota 2. In Clash Royale today, we're going to have Jimit going up against Suteekshan, or his other name is Beast. Now, Jimit is from Mumbai and has been playing the ESL India Premiership from the summer season. In the fall season, he had a mixed campaign, but he entered the fall season finale where he performed pretty well but got knocked out by Arpen in the semi-finals. In the winter season, he's not really been able to make an impression for himself, but is looking to change that in today's game. Today he goes up against Suteekshan, who is from Jammu and Kashmir. He's a 12-pass student and he entered the ESL India Premiership in the fall season. Now he also attended the fall season finale, but I guess because it was so soon for him, he wasn't really able to make his mark. In the winter season phase 1, he was able to place himself 4th on the leaderboard, but in the phase 2 right now, both these players sit 7th and 8th on the leaderboard. This game is very important for both of them because this will actually show where these two are going to stand at the end of this phase. So let's see how this game is going to go as we head into it with our casters, and I will see you all right after that.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ESL India Premiership's daily stream. So this is one of the last few days until the relegation matches happen, and today we're going to be watching Suteekshan Beast versus Jimit Bhatt. Jimit Bhatt. So anyway, my production just reminded me that my phone should be silent, and it already is. See production, I'm a very nice person. Okay, so we're gonna just head back into the game because a lot of our action just happened. Jimmy just put down an elixir collector which got basically chipped by the poison coming out from Beast. And couple of pushes from Jimit have reached the Beast's tower, but they haven't done much damage. They've only brought it down to 2054 HP. But looking at Jimit's own tower, which is at 1624, he just put down another elixir character again, and we have to wonder if Suteekshan will be able to take advantage of this. We're just a minute in. The timer is counting down from 2 minutes, about 50 seconds away from double elixir. And as you should all know by now, if you've been watching the Premiership, the last minute is when high elixir decks like a Three Musketeer decks truly shine, because that's when you can actually drop a Three Musketeer set and cycle back and drop it before they actually reach the middle of the tower, especially if there's a fight happening somewhere. So that miner has been quite a bit of value for Jimit. Unfortunately, he has been hit by both the towers at once, so he died pretty early. Otherwise, he would have taken the tower down a little more. 15 seconds left until the last minute of double elixir, and this elixir collector coming out from Jimit is going to remain unchallenged because Beast doesn't have anything to challenge it with. Like he doesn't have a miner. And his poison hasn't been cycled yet. Now that he does have his poison, we're going to have to wait and see if he's going to use it for the elixir character, or is he satisfied just by stopping the Three Musketeer push right now. Looking at the towers, it's 1798 HP versus 1384, clearly in the favor of Suteekshan, but that can all change. It doesn't have to be the last minute. It doesn't have to be the double elixir time for it to change, because this is Clash Royale. Like, small mistakes will eventually snowball and lead up to huge avalanche level pushes coming down the side, which I think is what is going to happen now. Musketeer being unchallenged by the tower thanks to the Ice Golem distracting it, but the Ice Spirit and the Knight from Beast have finished it. Meanwhile, on the other side, 518 HP left. Like that Musketeer, that single Musketeer on the right just did a huge metric fudge ton of damage, bringing it down to 218 again, thanks to the miner tanking for the solo spear goblin. Okay, there we go. Yep, that's it. We just stepped into overtime. A miner pops up from Jimit and completely destroys the tower, giving him the first victory of the day. Congratulations, Jimit. So before we head off into the second game, though, because I haven't had time to do this the last couple of times, I just want to thank our sponsors: Omen by HP, Zoe by BenQ, HyperX, and our newest edition, Intel. Of course, all of this is produced and brought to you by Nodwin Gaming, which is us, and we're just happy to do it. And we are very glad that our sponsors have been our friends and have stuck with us for this year and hopefully for the next year as well. Anyway, so having said that, let's just try to see what's going to happen in the second game. And so Jimit, if you guys are just joining us right now, it's Jimit versus Suteekshan, and Jimit's in the lead with a 1-game victory for now. Beast coming out with some emotes being reflected by Jimit. Gotcha. Again, 15 seconds later, Beast lets out the first card, which is an Ice Spirit, manages to make its way to the tower, and platoons all over it for a itty-bitty bit of damage. So Beast is playing a Hawk Cycle deck with a Rocket Kicker. Looks like it's going to be a chip damage deck. And he has the Tornado and the Executioner for pretty effective defense. He can use that to activate his King Tower. He can use it to bring all enemy units into one spot so that the Executioner can just throw his Culling Blade, I'm assuming, modeled after Axe from Dota 2. Anyway, good attempt from Jimit right there. He did reach the tower and did a couple of hits on it, but it's only at 2168. Beast's Hog actually managed to land a hit off onto the tower. Like, it actually managed to zip past the P.E.K.K.A for just one measly little powerful hit, which is good. Like, that's all he needs right now. Will the P.E.K.K.A be able to hit even one hit? Yes, he does. And what a huge powerful hit it was. 1490 HP left. Beast is super angry about it. Super angry. Okay, so this Executioner right now is getting distracted by this timely placed Ice Golem from Jimit. And yep, Good attempt right there. He only managed to distract the executioner long enough for just one bat to die. Zap coming out from Beast in defense of his star, but not much of a defense. Look at that, 284 HP. It was just one graveyard. It wasn't even a graveyard poison. It was just one graveyard, and that's all it took. Again, Hog manages to slip past the P.E.K.K.A for one last hit, now making its way slowly across the fight. So I think that poison is enough to bring the tower down, and as well as the executioner, and he uses the tornado as well to save what was left of the knight. But oh, look at that. Executioner successfully manages to finish off all of Jimit's push. Rocket coming out from Jimit, leaving rocket coming out from Beast, leaving Jimit star at 457 HP. But Jimit, all he has to do is defend and uses the arrows to bring the tower down. What would he do right now? Is he going to just try to save his star, or does he know that his star cannot be saved that much? Look at that. Oh, that hog. 1 second is clearly not enough for the rocket to make its way across the map. So looks like Jimit's going to take the second game as well. 2-0 in favor of Jimit right now. Beast is out of the frying pan and into the fire. He loses one more and he's going to lose this matchup as well. But let's hope that doesn't happen, because, you know, you, me, the players, the people watching, everybody enjoys grand finish, game 5, if you will. So let's see. In this phase so far, I would say we've only had on stream. I think we've only had three best of 5s. I mean, games that actually went to 5 games, and we had about 3 or 4 3-0 sweeps. Yeah, it's really. I understand that from a production point of view, it's really good if the games are finished quickly, but I'm a caster, right? And you guys have come to the stream to watch some good Clash Royale action. Like, we all know what it feels like just to be, switch has been flipped, you've been turned on, and then you've been left alone. Nobody likes blue balls. Nobody likes blue balls. So, having said that, I think I might be in trouble for mentioning balls on stream. But I digress. Let's see if game 3 has changed anything for Suteekshan. Let's hope he wins this one and forces Beast to win another, just to take the victory off his hands. Some good sporting coming out from Beast and Jimit. Some emote spamming happening. So Beast has modified his deck a little. Now I see the Ice Wizard. Maybe he's removed the Executioner. And Jimit's playing with the balloon deck. Okay, so this is interesting. Will the balloon make its way across for one last hit? I want to know. It doesn't. Tornado pulls the miner back as well, and successfully manages to keep all 3 of his units alive. Beast, that was really, really good. And now he uses an offensive graveyard, which is pretty much taken care of by the 3 minions. And yeah, not much happening. Like, he did manage to chip off damage off onto the tower. It's at 2197. But I don't think that was enough of a return on investment when you consider elixir wise. But again, you also have to consider the fact that those were all cards that were used defensively. Those minions actually earned their keep in elixir before making their way across. Jimit puts down a Mega Knight right behind his King Tower. He doesn't want to bleed any elixir, which is good. We just have to wait and see if how much value Mega Knight can steal from Beast. And that's going to destroy the cannon. And the poison is going to take care of the minion horde as well. And oh wow, look at that. Tornado coming out from Beast, activating his King Tower. Using the miner, losing only a bit of HP, but his overall defense becoming much stronger, because the King Tower does a whole ton more damage than his normal Princess Tower. Again, we sort of fell back into the passive game right there. Jimit lets go of his balloon, which is immediately attacked by the Ice Wizard and the Mega Minion. Looks like the Ice Wizard is going to eat damage from the bomb, but it's okay. He's on the back lines. People are going to... Oh, I was just about to say it's going to be a long time before the Ice Wizard dies, and boom comes the Mega Knight. Again, that push actually chipped off even more HP from the tower, which is a good thing. Let's see, Tornado coming out from Beast pulls the balloon closer to the tower, and luckily for him, that didn't turn out to be a huge mistake because he actually was able to kill it. But of course, his Ice Wizard and the tower have eaten the damage from the kamikaze bomb coming out from the balloon. So this time, finally, Jimit actually managed to have his minion horde avoid damage from the poison, but again, they just get killed because two towers are firing at them, and Beast has used a zap. So we've just entered overtime, and neither player has brought a tower down. Yeah, it's looking more and more hopeful for Beast. He's able to stop Jimit's Mega Knight from doing any real damage on his side of the board. And those poisons are doing some heavy damage. Now Jimit's tower is at 1150. Slowly but surely, Beast is dropping Jimit's towers down. But now out comes the Miner, who's getting attacked by both the King Tower as well as the Princess Tower. Ooh, that balloon might get one hit off onto the tower. No, it doesn't. Lucky for him, but he does still eat the bomb damage. Okay, so this time the Ice Wizard actually managed to avoid it. And we see a secondary Ice Wizard coming out. That's pretty cool. Again, Mega Knight coming down. Quick look at the tower's HP. 1414 for Beast and 1150 for Jimit. Jimit clearly on the receiving end of the pushes right now. Okay, so this time the cannon cart might actually make it across the map. The zap coming out, but it does not destroy the cannon tower. But it does get destroyed by the Princess Tower at the halfway point. Poison and Graveyard both coming out do a whole ton of damage, about 650 damage to Jimit's Tower, which is now at 508 HP. Jimit lets go of his Miner, again, who gets attacked simultaneously by the Ice Wizard, the Tower, as well as the King Tower. Again, Mega Knight not really doing any tangible damage. He just gets picked off in the air thanks to the Ice Wizard and the Tower hitting him together. But Jimit's been using his Mega Knight pretty effectively. Like, he's killing off both the Ice Wizard as well as Mega Knight getting destroyed by a minion horde, which in turn gets destroyed by poison. So I think this, Tornado coming out, pulling the balloon away from the tower. But it's slowly making its way across again. Again, manages to be destroyed right before dropping one of its normal hits. But again, the tower again takes damage from the bomb. Graveyard poison coming out from Beast. Jimit's tower might just get destroyed in this one. No, it doesn't. Oh no, the Ice Wizard is targeting the tower. One more shot and it goes down. Congratulations, Beast. You actually started a comeback maybe. So the score is 1-2 in favor of Jimit. Suteekshan just showed that he has what it takes to fight in the Masters League and has taken a match off Jimit. And let's see if we can go into game 5 and find out, game 4 and find out the result. Okay, here we go. So game 4, last game might have been the previous game might have been the last game for today, and this one also has that factor in it because Jimit only needs one more victory to seal the leaderboard. I just got a very surprised stare from production saying, "Oh no, don't say that word. It starts with L, and it's not love. It's leaderboard." Okay, so looks like Jimit's playing a Poison Graveyard deck with a P.E.K.K.A defensive unit and Night Witch. That's pretty interesting. We've seen this deck work wonders in the fall finale in Hyderabad. Like, most games were won because of Graveyard Poison or Graveyard Miner Poison. And looks like Beast is playing a beatdown deck with a Giant as a tank and a Miner. Okay. I don't think Beast's Fireball is going to do much in this game because it's not so good against a P.E.K.K.A. Sure, it does destroy the Goblin Gang, but I mean, would you really use a Fireball to kill off a Goblin Gang? Come on. However, Jimit, I think, has clearly the advantage draft-wise. any giant push coming out from Beast will be instantly crucified, shish kebab by the huge sword of that P.E.K.K.A. Like literally anything that Beast throws at Jimit is going to be destroyed by the P.E.K.K.A. and his minions are just going to be destroyed by arrows. And we just saw an example of how effective the Graveyard Poison is on the right over there. It brought the tower down to 641 HP again. Oh, but here on the left, the giant actually reached the tower and did a whole lot more damage than any of Jimit's pushes. That was well played. Like Jimit couldn't really answer it. Maybe he didn't want to. Maybe he wanted to save the fact that he had a P.E.K.K.A. Like, surprise. And I can't say the second part of that phrase. Yeah, the one from Dexter. Okay, again, Graveyard Poison again. This might actually just destroy the tower now. It's going down pretty quickly. These two bats from Jimit's side just came and finished what his Graveyard and Poison have started. P.E.K.K.A. manages to destroy the giant, but Fireball coming out from Beast actually did some value. So that was a wrong prediction from my side. It destroyed the tower and took a chunk of damage from the P.E.K.K.A. Now all Jimit has to do is save the tower on the right. I do the same thing with the Poison Graveyard that he's been doing. And Beast has to find a way to outsmart Jimit. Can he do it though? Like Jimit's cards are pretty strong. Like it's almost a perfect counter deck to what Beast is doing. As long as and since we are getting double elixir now, all Jimit has to do is avoid any huge misplays. And I think it's Jimit's game to lose. 1157 HP left on Beast's tower, to 2653 on his King Tower. While Jimit's towers are practically at full HP, his King Tower is actually at full HP, 4008. Giant on the left right there avoids the P.E.K.K.A. being supported by a Night Witch and the Miner. The Goblin Gang right there being cleared by the log. Oof, this looks really dangerous for Jimit, but we have to understand the fact that Jimit's P.E.K.K.A. is at Beast's King Tower right now. Gets distracted by a well-placed giant from Beast, now starts chasing him. Choli ke piche kya hai, he keeps singing. Chasing a giant, hairy giant. But again, Poison Graveyard on the left. It's going to bring the tower down to very low HP. 352, 322, 322. And if you are actually like fans of the Dota 2 esports scene all over the world, you know the significance of the number 322. Okay, again, Graveyard Poison coming out, I'm assuming. He doesn't even need the poison. The Graveyard itself is enough to finish the job. That's it. 1 minute 30 seconds into overtime. Jimit snatches this up on the back of a very good counter pick deck, Graveyard Poison. Basically just uses that to finish off the towers. Congratulations. 3-1 is your score for Clash Royale today, ladies and gentlemen. Jimit wins. But don't go anywhere though. Although we do not have CSGO today, we do have a game of Dota 2 coming up. Very exciting game. Our host Angela is going to tell you all about it. But before I let you guys go again, I just want to thank again our sponsors, Omen by HP, Zoe by BenQ, HyperX, and Intel. And all of this brought to you by Nodwin Gaming. And having said that, this is Manoj Supergola been casting for you for a long while. And thanks to our production head finally recovering from typhoid and coming back, I'm able to cast for you again. Yay! Although this is like the last day before the relegations. So thank you for that. So anyway, so thank you guys for watching, but do stay tuned. Enjoy these sweet tunes before the next match, and I'll let Angie give you the lowdown. Bye-bye.
Alright, so with that we do come to an end for Clash Royale for today. If you guys have missed out any games and want to check them out, you can head on to our ESL India YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to us to get a notification when we come live to you every day with all the fun from the ESL India Premiership. Don't go anywhere, folks. Coming up next, we have Dota 2, so I will see you all right away.
this beast.
Game, record, and stream without compromise on Intel Core i7.
Are you going to dominate the game?
Going to change towards Bustle. It's a double kill for Blizzard while Paddling is on the run. Signify on the cusp of gaining victory here. Going to try and get the bomb down. Much has no idea. He's going to find an ace. He's going to find a kill and get the second one as well.
हैदराबाद हमारा इलाके कोई भी नहीं आ सकता कोई जीत नहीं सकता
Turn around 3 times. Start shooting.
Exclusive black equalizer brightens dark scenes without overexposing bright areas. Use the S switch to quickly access the setting and switch between save modes. Personalize the way you see everything. And then conquer. Exclusive Black Equalizer brightens dark scenes without overexposing bright areas. Use the S switch to quickly access the setting and switch between save modes. Adjust the angle effortlessly for maximum comfort.
It should be a very, very comfortable round here. Never mind, that's my Buster. That's just a Mac 10. Sorry, that's a UMP. He can actually inflict a bit of damage, a full eco. And if he gets one more kill, that's money in the bank. And he gets another kill from the very same position. Another one for Veerbutra. This 1v5 to a 1v2. This is extremely expensive. I don't believe it. I just do not believe it. He gets the ace. He gets the ace.
Shinchan, oh what a flick, Shinchan snaps on it.
I don't even. Spider-Man play with the P250. He gets another kill. He picks up the AK-47. A bomb is dropped. It's all in Veerbutra again. 16 points fell for Kappa. And Veerbutra walking out with the AWP. He spots him up with Kappa. 1v3. Bomb just in time. Anything can happen. Oh my god! Holy Christ! Entering one of his to work with. He's going to be sailing in towards Palace. However, there's no one there to find Puta. Playing on top Shadow. And it's going to be Spyro who gets the kill. He's going to clutch it out! The 1v3 for Spyro! Bomb down. And was. And Venom. Going for the frags. He's gonna find Venom now. It's a 1v1. Was 41 HP was the 51 points of for recoil. He has no utility. He does have a kit, but the bomb is not planned for recoil. The recoil feeling it, the off angle, and he spots that was getting off the bomb. Was going for the hard and recoil.
with a beautiful clutch. And that is going to be too easy, getting to 5 rounds in a row. I did not see that coming.
Turn it on.
Ladies and gentlemen, MVP for Dota 2, Omen from Signify.
Turn it on.
Ladies and gentlemen, MVP for Dota 2, over from Signify.
I don't wanna be around when you lose control. I don't wanna be around when you lose control. I don't wanna be around when you lose control. When you lose control, it's so hard to hold. All this weight up on my shoulders. I hate to say I told you so.
Take 10 steps back. Close your eyes and listen. Look from somewhere different. I know that I've been slipping. I fold my tie and ribbon to hide my scars. That's how it starts. Ooh, I don't wanna be around when you lose control. I don't wanna be around when you lose control. I don't wanna be around when you lose control. Lose control. It's so hard to hold. All this weight up on my shoulders. I hate to say I told you so. Hate to say I told you so.
I want my lips back, my time back, my words like when I said my love back, my life back, my heart, the one that you knew could break.
to another day in the ESL India Premiership Winter Season Phase 2. I'm your host Angela, and this event is brought to you by Omen, by HP, Zai, by BenQ, HyperX, and Tel, and organized by Nodwin Gaming. Coming up, we have Dota 2. It's going to be Team Sara Kollo going up against Team Reckoning. Now, Team Sara Kollo are from Sri Lanka, and they're one of the top teams there. They entered the ESL India Premiership in the Winter Season October phase and made their way to the Masters League. In the Masters League, for now, they sit on the top of the leaderboard and have had a very good campaign, in my words. Today they go up against Team Reckoning, who are from India, Mumbai. They are made out of a mixed teams of different kinds, and their roster goes all over the multiple cities of India, but their base is Mumbai. They entered the ESL India Premiership in the October season, and the Challenger League they came second, making their way into the Masters League. In the Masters League for now, they do sit second on the leaderboard, right behind Sara Kollo. This game is important for Reckoning because if they do want to take the first spot, they gotta defeat Sara Kollo now. This game is going to be casted by AFK Gaming, and I will see you all right after the game.
Get love back, my life back, my heart, the one that you knew could break the world that broke with your confession.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ESL India Premiership. You're watching the Masters League, and today we have Reckoning Esports on the Radiant facing off versus Sara Kollo on the Dire. The winner takes home a cool 10,000 rupees and also tops the Masters for this phase. My name is Vivek and I'll be guiding you through this journey. Reckoning Esports, they've had a fairly good run. They've beaten Council, they've beaten Knuckleheads. I think they've beaten Sara Kollo, I'm not sure. Anyhow, they got to beat them again. Sara Kollo, the team from Sri Lanka, it seems as if they've come with some level of preparation into this game. They banned out the Night Stalker, they banned out the Beastmaster. Now, Beastmaster is one of Khan's stronger heroes. I've seen Reckoning run really strong push strats in the past. I think they picked the Beastmaster, the Templar Assassin, and the Drow in one game. And yeah, right now, Sara Kollo, with the opening set of bans, pretty much just targeting Khans here. How do Reckoning want to open and respond to this? Okay, so it's going to be a first pick Winter Wyvern. I have mixed feelings about this. I don't think this works every game. He's sort of situational. The Winter's Curse is great when there's a core on the enemy side who does a lot of physical damage. The Cold Embrace also great when there's enemy on the side who does a lot of physical damage. But yeah, the draft's still ambiguous, still vague, still open for Reckoning Esports. Okay, it's gonna be a silencer. And they're going to follow up with a 4-position Clockwork. Okay, so Sara Kollo, it's going to be a 5-position silencer, 4-position Clockwork. Clockwork could head to the offlane, but I'm not always a fan of just sending Clockwork to the offlane. Sort of situational, not too bad, but I prefer him as a 4. We've been seeing a couple of interesting builds coming out on the Clockwork. I'm not sure who's someone on VP or one of the European teams did build the Meteor Hammer on the Clockwork. And one can see value in that. Cogs into the Meteor Hammer drop down and you should be able to do a fair amount of damage with the Battery Assault. Reckoning Esports are going to pick up the Doom. I don't know how I feel about this. I do not advocate the Doom in every scenario. And I don't know. I mean, there's so many better offlaners. Why Doom is a question I ask myself. I've been seeing a lot of Doom lately in the Indian scene. In some scenarios, he makes sense. Maybe Reckoning Esports has something planned with the Doom that I'm not privy to. Next set of bans coming up from Sara, Kollo, just banning out one positions that are easy to execute, the Juggernaut and the Life Stealer. Reckoning take out the Monkey King. It's possible that they're looking at a melee offlaner, which could have a tough time if he was up against a safe lane Monkey King. They also ban out the Batrider. That makes sense. Lasso, and then you drop the Global Silence, and there's no way you can react to that if you're Reckoning Esports. Sara, Kollo, this is where they'll be looking at picking up an offlaner. You got Void in the pool. You got a lot of options to work with. You got Void, you got Duxer, you got Axe, Centaur. What else? Bristleback hasn't been run a lot, but Sara, Kollo could consider it. Then got the Timbersaw, which not such a fan of, but he does have some talents that make him reasonably decent, especially that level 15 talent where he gets a bunch of extra reactive armor stacks. What are Sara, Kollo looking at? It's going to be the Tide Hunter. Damn, how did I forget about this one? Press a button, stun everybody in your screen and beyond. And yeah, it's just easy to execute. Reckoning Esports should be looking at heroes that have some early magic damage so that they can bring down that the Tide Hunter in lane. But instead, they're going to pick up the Viper straight away. I'm not sure what this is about. Viper was the cancer of the previous patch, but I'm really not sure why they picked up the Viper. The break is great actually. If you look at it, his Nether Toxin, his second skill, can disable the Kraken Shell on the Tide Hunter, and that makes him a lot more vulnerable to damage. Is that just it? Did they just picking him up for the Nether Toxin? Hey, next pick from Sara, Kollo. They might be looking for a mid laner who can do well versus the Viper. Now, there are a bunch of theories that were being formed towards the end of the previous patch. And I spoke to a lot of professional players, Deliverance, Crowley, and all of them. And I asked them various questions as to how would you lane if you had to go up against a Viper. They said the best thing you can do when you're up against a Viper is play a hero which has multiple units. That helps bring down Viper. So the Visage was one of the heroes that was put forth. Some said even Meepo should be fine in lane versus the Viper. Just poof, keep the wave pushed, and eventually just overwhelm the Viper by sheer numbers. But they go for the Tinker. The laser's going to be good. It's going to help him out CS the Viper. And maybe with the max laser rocket build and clockwork rotating in, should be able to bring down the Viper sometime around when the Tinker hits level 7 or 8. But that could go both ways. If Viper has infused raindrops, then it's only that much harder to bring him down. I expect for Reckoning Eastwards. Now, this should give us an idea of whether this Doom is actually going to be playing the 4 or the 3 position. Because it is possible that this could be a 5 position Winter Wyvern and a 4 position Doom. I am not a fan of the 4 position Doom. Heck, I'm not even a fan of the 3 position Doom. But Reckoning Esports, they're going to hold on to figuring that out till the end. They're going to pick up a hero that should be able to catch the Tinker. once he manages to get some farm and levels, and that's going to be the Storm Spirit. Going to be zipping about the trees, bringing them down, catching the Tinker when he tries to split push with his BOTs and his Blink Dagger. Fair enough.
5 seconds remaining.
But yeah, you got to be somewhat careful as a Storm Spirit. There is a silencer in the enemy team. You might be looking at building a Newell Scepter yourself on the Storm Spirit, just so that you can shrug off the global silence and that it doesn't affect you and your mobility too much. Last ban for Reckoning is for looking at banning of one position, yeah.
10 seconds.
One position that with a lot of options. You've still got Sven in the pool. You've got Razor, which is somewhat good versus the Viper, but they're going to ban the Bane of all my bubs, the anti-mage. I have an anti-mage in my team. He sucks. I have an anti-mage in the enemy team. He's split pushing to all hell. And Reckoning Esports, they don't trust whoever's going to be playing the anti-mage on either team. This is finally going to tell us, though, where the Doom is going to be played. Sara Kollo thinks that it's going to be a 3-position Doom, which is why they banned out the Spirit Breaker, a 4-position hero. If Reckoning Esports are indeed looking for a 4-position, you got a bunch of options. Slada, Sand King. What else? The Earth Spirit's been banned out. Nyx has been banned out. Slaughter, Sand King. I'm leaning towards the Slaughter a bit. The Corrosive Haze would be nice versus the Tide Hunter. Help bring him down. Reckoning Esports taking the time with this one. Last pick on the board for Reckoning Esports. If they are looking for an offlaner, what could be an option? Now, I know Khans is known for playing the Underlord. They could pick up the Underlord if they want to. But it's going to be the Gunka. Okay, so it's a 4-position Gunka and an offlane Doom. There's no easy setup for the taunt early on. I mean, you gotta hope that the Arctic Burn connects and that's enough movement speed slow so that you could land that torrent after that. But yeah, it's kind of a strange game to be a Kunkka. Now there are some benefits. It's gonna allow the Storm to zip in and have the security being pulled back with the X marks the spot. If they do goof up and there's a global silence coming out from the silencer, the Storm Spirit could be dead. You also got some catch for the Tinker if you need it. The biggest problem is this last pick from Sara Kollo. How did they deal with the Chaos Knight, who just becomes a beast if he manages to get his farm? You got to try and contest him as much as possible early on in the lane itself. And to which extent I really don't mind Reckoning Esports running an offensive tri lane. I think the Viper is going to be fine by himself versus the Tide Hunter. He should do okay. Put a point in at the Toxin, get points in the poison attack, and you're just going to chew through that Kraken Shell damage block. Yeah, I'd actually like to see Reckoning Esports through this. Run Viper in the safe lane, give him that matchup versus the Tide Hunter, run an aggressive try and pressure that Chaos Knight as much as possible. Or you could just have Doom lane versus the Tide Hunter instead of leaving the Viper solo. Just getting my camera script set up. Give me a moment, please. And yeah, we are good to go. I'll quickly run through the lineups here. On the side of Reckoning Gaming, we've got Dot playing the Viper. We've got Winter Wyvern in the hands of Paradox. Doom going to be played by Khans in the off lane. Artista going to be handling that Kunkka. And Storm Spirit going to be played by Sharky on the other side of the river for Sara Kollo. We've got Paradox playing the Chaos Knight Clockwork. going to be played by AB Tidehunter in the hands of Toad Boss. Tinker going to be played by Satan. Okay, whatever that is. In a hockey, the captain and drafter going to be playing the silencer. Fun fact about Sara Kollo, they actually are coached by the ex-coach of WG Unity. So they are pretty darn serious and it shows. Level 1 smoke coming out from them. They're hoping to bump into the Viper, but Dot is well positioned to probably run away. But with the reality rift, he's out of position, surrounded, controlled by the rocket barrage, and brought down by the Tinker. Viper not in the safest of places he could be. Ends up falling. It's going to be a long walk for him to the safe lane. He's going to goof up on the block to some extent. So Tidehunter could have the wave a little bit more in his favor. He's also got 10 tangos on his sal, which is a lot of regeneration. But yeah, they are running this aggressive try. They want to contest the Chaos Knight Paradox and Artista. Now, this is the classic Entity or Beyond Infinity move that Entity did do a lot when they were qualifying for TI7. For the SEA quals, they had no chance move into the offlane as the Legion commander, and they usually had two supports hanging further west, hoping to cut them off. Now, this sort of worked earlier because the creeps didn't meet so close to the safe lane. Even then, they're really trying to force it here. Hockey dropping low, the torrent, perfect from Artista. Hockey could go down, but can't, doesn't want to chase, and that was probably the right call. He could have ended up going down and not got the kill, and even if he went down towards Silencer, it's not worth it. But yeah, this move that Paradox and Artista tried, it used to work a lot more in the earlier patch because the enemy safe lane creeps didn't meet so close to the tower, so you actually had a little bit of space to loop around like this. Yep. But now you can't. Dot level 2, put a point into the corrosive skin straight away. I foresee him putting a point into Nether Toxin soon enough. Maybe level 3. I think putting that early point into it and ensuring that Tide is not blocking any damage courtesy the Kraken Shell would do him a fair amount of good. We have a disconnect coming out from Reckoning Esports here. I don't know, their team initials are RG, but if you look at them on Facebook, it's Reckoning Esports, so I'm just going to call them Reckoning Esports. What's the mid lane looking like? Storm's done. Okay. What is Clockwork up to? Did he try to bully the Storm? Yeah, looks like he did. This is the early aggressive ward coming out from Reckoning Esports. Toggle Radiant Vision. So it looks at the bounty. Does look at this part of the lane a bit. If they chew through these trees, damn. Okay. If they chew through these trees, they will get a little bit more vision on the side. They have a little bit of vision behind the tier 1 tower. It's really crucial when you run an aggressive try or any sort of a try and try scenario. It's very crucial to have vision. And the simple reason why this is because if you do catch one of the supports out of position, just by knowing that he is all by himself thanks to your ward, you should be able to get a kill. It's also crucial to have magic sticks early on. Nobody's picked up one just yet. Yeah, everybody's looking for the early boots here. Okay, we have a disconnect. It's your chance to go get some food and beverage and come back. I'm gonna get some water myself. Should be back underway soon in a couple of minutes. Heck, we don't even have the time to do that. Sharky has reconnected. We should be good to go in a bit. Okay, now Sara Kollo. wants a break. Anyway, for those of you just tuning in, you're watching the ESL India Premiership. This is the deciding match of the Masters League between Reckoning Esports from India and Sara Kollo from Sri Lanka. The winner will top the Masters League and take home a cool 10,000 rupees. Plus, if I'm not mistaken, you get around 1,000 rupees for just playing a game in the Masters League. I think it's 1,000 rupees if you win and 500 rupees if you lose. Which is more pocket money than I ever got in my entire life. So, gaming as a career option is viable. But that gank was it. I don't know what Artista was hoping for. His Storm was rather low. He only salves up just now. And they've kind of let this aggressive try fizzle out. I mean, I'm not even sure if it was meant to be an aggressive try because Artista just heads over to the mid lane. There is a ward which he did scout out. Good stuff coming out from both Shaki and the mid lane as well as Artista. Noticing the fact that Satan... Damn, I'm never going to get his name right. Satan? I don't know. The most Indian pronunciation is Satan. But yeah, basically Storm knew that there was a ward on his cliff and he called it out. Artista was there with the sentry and now Storm is working with a slight vision advantage. AB's got the boots on the clockwork. Probably started out with it, so that's going to allow him to just walk in and get the cogs off. You know, thanks to how where the creeps meet in the safe lane and where the shrines are, I think as an offlaner sometimes it is better off blocking the small camp, because even one missed opportunity to control wave equilibrium could be a lot of gold for you if you're an offlaner, and if you do somehow contest these pulls, you could do just fine. Khans, he's got the toughness aura that's allowing him to take a lot of pure damage from these glares, but he has the Splinter Blast along with the Arctic Burn. They're running down the Silencer with the Scorched Earth. This should be a kill. Silencer out of position, not sure what he was thinking, got a bit carried away just pounding away on Khans and ends up giving his life. 1-1 is the score, but Paradox is here. The Reality Rift is there. AB running in with the cogs, but the cogs means that, well, Paradox on the CK can't join in on the fun and Khans is just going to get away. Paradox on the window by one, quick to rotate, seeing the Silencer getting carried away there. The mid lane is going surprisingly well for the Storm Spirit. One would tend to believe that this matchup is more Tinker favored in lane, but the Storm Spirit is doing just okay. Both offlaners, the Tide and the Doom, are pretty even. The Tide's still getting his farm here. Yeah, the Tide is getting his farm. The Viper's not enough just yet to push the Tide out of lane. Yeah, and without the Nether Toxin, this is going to keep happening. Top lane though, Chaos Knight needs to be careful. Khans is running in with the Scorched Earth. He's got that toughness aura and hockey. He's been body blocked. Warcraft 3 style. The Reality Rift not enough. Paradox scores the kill and he's there with the Cold Embrace. Paradox now chasing Paradox. Not sure who's the real one, but it's clear that Khans is doing a little too good for his own self here in this off lane. He gets pulled back with the Reality Rift. Now there are no points in the Chaos Bolt, and without a stun, they just don't have enough to bring down this Doom. Clockwork, AB, I mean, he's been running around the map, hasn't gotten anything done, hasn't helped the mid lane, hasn't shut down Doom in the off lane. While Artista, I mean, he just planted himself in the mid lane, waiting for the Clockwork to get carried away and run in. AB continuously trying to force the issue in this mid lane. Still struggling for an opening. Now, the wards have timed out. At least the Radiant bot near the mid lane has. The Dire have got one on their cliff. Narrowly out of range of that sentry. Artista takes the lane. I thought he was going to take the lane, but he's going to take the rune. And Storm falls back into the jungle. Both teams rather comfortable playing a more peaceful start to the game, to the early game. I think Sara Kollo will be okay with this. The later and later this goes, the more of a nuisance the Chaos Knight becomes. I'm not going. I mean, I don't foresee any answers to that Phantasm. Not sure it's going to be really helping take down those Chaos Knight illusions when they spawn. Toad Boss has the TP, so if things do get sticky, he could just TP out in front of the Viper. Meanwhile, top lane, Khans behind the enemy tier 1 tower, caught in the cold embrace. Paradox will fall. Khans died, and he's going to fall as well. Pops the Sal, but it's not going to be enough. Viper, though, did get a kill, so both offlaners end up going down once. Not really sure what the Winter Wyvern and the Doom were thinking there, but yeah, they end up giving their lives. And AB picks up 2 kills there on the Clockwork. So finally the Clockwork decides that his safe lane is going to be the place where he's going to try and get something done and secures a kill on the enemy offlaner. Dot meanwhile solo kill Toad Boss. Now I said Toad Boss had a TP, I thought he'd get out of there, but I'm not really sure what happened. Apologies folks, small slip up on my part in terms of camera control. Shouldn't happen again. Khans going for the early drums. I presume somebody's going to be looking to build a Lotus Orb. Both sides would do well to have a Lotus Orb. Doom could build one just to deal with the Global Silence. You can get rid of the Global Silence with the Lotus Orb. I foresee Storm building a use. Right now he's not doing too great in terms of money. It's still early on, but there is this deep Radiant Observer, and they're going to contest the Tinker stacks. This is really hard for Sara Kollo, and Tinker, he's been forced to commit the march, the Arcane Curse upon the creeps. But Paradox is here with the Arctic Burn. AEB running in. Quick Reality Rift onto the Storm Cogs. Well, it catches Artista. Artista might end up going down, but he drops the torrent. The Splinter Blast is there. The Cold Embrace not enough. The magic damage secures the kill, while Paradox forced to drop a stun, forced to run away, but will go down to the Storm Spirit. Kanj just running after the Silencer and chasing him down with that Infernal Blade. He's got the Hellburst Smasher coming off cooldown in a bit, but he had the face boots, and that was enough to bring down the Silencer. Sustan trying to make a run for it. Sustan, excuse me, but Toad Boss is here. He's got the Ravage. Khans will take one last hero with him, and that's going to be AB, but Stan with the denied ensures that Khans doesn't get the kill. Now, I'm not really sure who ended up getting most of that stack, but if you take a look at the fight recap, Reckoning lost the Doom, lost the Kunkka, but they got the Chaos Knight as well as the Clockwork and the Silencer. And they also forced out the Ravage. Oh, they didn't force out the Ravage, my bad. They forced out a rotation from the Titan to Paradox. He's got treads. Feels like he can do a little bit of damage here to the Kunkka. Reality Rift number 2. Artista still looking for the X marks the spot with the torrent, but AB's there with the Rocket Flare. It's a killing spree for the Clockwork, who's got his Urn of Shadows complete. And Paradox has had enough. He's pretty much just switched lanes. Thing is, he's hanging around the bottom lane with not too much HP, not a TP either, and the scan is there. They go for the courier. The overcharge not enough to bring it down. Paradox moving deeper into the trees.
Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Will we seeing the Tinker farming up these stacks? And the question is, do they contest? It seems as if they want to. Khans is going in. He pops the Scotch third. He moves right on top of AB, who's got him with the cogs. Khans might just end up going down, but he should get AB in return. Infernal Blade onto Hockey. He pops the Global Silence. Still wants to bring down the Doom, while Paradox manages to bring the Viper to the low ground. Paradox is here. The Paradox on the side of Reckoning Esports, and he's trying his best. Hockey has fallen, and Satan TP's in. The immediate Doom from Khans, who's going to chase him back to his tier 2. Not sure if he has enough. Not sure if he's pushing his luck. His drums are on cooldown. He's dropping low. Satan can turn around with a couple of auto attacks and some health coming in from the tower. They will get the kill on the Doom, but once again, at what cost? They've lost the Chaos Knight. They've lost the Clockwork. They popped the Global Silence as well. This early game is not going as planned for Sara Kollo. "14 minutes in, Chaos Knight still searching for his armlet." Now, the Reality Rift is a powerful force in these team fights. I mean, the extent to which it makes people go out of position is really proving to be a nuisance for Reckoning Esports. Another thing that's going to be a bit of a problem is that the ward did get dewarded here. Okay, keeping up with Artista, managing to get the deward. Radiant using the scan. It's a little obvious that they would be there, but they use it nonetheless. Top lane. X marks the spot onto Satan. Torrent, Board, Infernal Blade, everything being thrown on top of this Tinker, who manages to pop the March, but in the end goes down to the enemy Kunkka. And now it seems as if Reckoning are looking for an early push of sorts. With most of Sara Kollo perched on this bottom lane, I'm not sure how they defend. Now they do have the Ravage. Toadbosh is trying to farm up his mech as soon as possible. Khans straight up after the drums is going for the Blink Dagger. I really like this choice. Tier 1 tower should fall. Glyph committed by Sara Kollo. Not sure if it's going to be enough. While Sara Kollo are pushing the other end of the map. Couple of early rockets coming out from maybe just trying to scout out where the rest of Reckoning Esports are. Is tier 1 at full HP while Shaki applies some early pressure on the tier 2 at mid. Should know that Tinker's nearby with that Mart spam. The Winter's Curse is now available to Paradox here. Shaki popping the Invis route and going to farm. But yeah, Reckoning, they do not have to deal with any push just yet from the side of Sara Kollo as they back off. Probably the play is to wait Tinker's blink and wait Tide's mech, and maybe then they look to group up. Tide now has gold for his mech. But yeah, the past couple of engagements, primarily because Sara Kollo end up giving the Chaos Knight every time and 2 supports as well, has resulted in Reckoning Esports having a net worth lead of 4,000. I'm going to drop down the net worth chart. There it is. 4,000 gold lead. It's small, but it's nothing that can't be overcome by Sara Kollo. This though is not the right play. I'm kind of concerned here for the Kunkka, because if the Tinker TP's in, okay, the Chaos Knight is just going to back out. Top lane Toad Boss still farming away. Khan just waiting on the sidelines in the trees. Could look for the wraparound with Dot moving in as well. Now this could bait out a hasty Ravage. Dot 4 staffs ahead with the Hurricane Pike and an immediate Doom to cancel the TP. The Nether Toxin on top. They're eating Toad for dinner tonight as Toad Boss falls down. Sharky not going for anything defensive in terms of his items such as the Yule Scepter. He's going for the Orchid straight away. Zips in, baits out the Global Silence. Now this isn't the greatest bait. I mean, he got the Global Silence off, but so what? AV's still getting away. Khans is running him down. He's popped the drums. He will have the Infernal Blade and even the Hellbest Slasher if he needs it. Oh, Satan came in to fire a couple of rockets, but he's been caught by the Winter's Curse. They've got the Torrent as well. SK just giving up kills one after another, and the X marks the spot onto another. Artista along with Dot and Khans, they wait patiently as Hockey is pulled back from his own base. Now Hockey did manage to bring down Artista with the last word if I'm not mistaken, but hey, I think Reckoning Esports are going to be okay with that. Somewhat okay with that. They're going to get a tier 1 on the back of this. That's the real advantage for them. All of this though is space for Paradox to farm. Paradox has got the armlet complete. He's going for the Echo Saber next. The last thing you want to give CK is time. And he is getting time to catch up. It is a 4,000 net worth lead in favor of Reckoning Esports, but it's not something that one Ravage can't do away with. Third boss has the mech as well, and the earlier kill on him in the top lane pretty much ensured that he wasn't there in the bottom lane to participate in that fight. Sharky, I mean, we did see in the previous engagement how the lack of something like a Yule Scepter failed to keep him alive when the Global Silence came out. Damn, these ancient Prowler Shamans really hurting Sharky them. But the Orchid, it is for Sharky. Now this is somewhat going to allow him to just zip onto the backlines and bring down the Silence himself, provided he has vision of the Silence and provided that Silence is even standing near his team. I mean, I wouldn't be too opposed to the idea of Hockey just staying in base and pressing the E button every now and then. This is not good though. Toad Boss gets caught out, the Doom committed, Tidehunter taken away from the fight. Tinker did manage to get the hell out of there, and Paradox on the Chaos Knight will get out as well. Deep Observer dropped by the other Paradox. They are looking to push for an objective, but they might need something, a possible pipe. I'm not really sure. They might need something to push through this march. But yeah, Sharky is going to push out the top lane. He's got the siege wagon. So the top tier 2 will fall at the very least. To Sara, Kollo want to defend. Now Toad Boss has respawn. He's got the Ravage. Tinker TPing to the top lane, immediately blinking out. No defense coming out from Sara, Kollo. They're being patient about this. They need to give their CK a little bit more time. I'm not really sure when he becomes a factor that Reckoning Esports won't be able to deal with in these team fights. But yeah, this is the right move from Sara, Kollo. For the past 2 team fights, Sara, Kollo have been fighting without the Ravage simply because Toad Boss gets picked off. Now they have the Ravage, now they have a Global Silence. This could be a good fight for them. Dot got out of position, the Ravage committed, the Global Silence as well. They're trying to bring down Sharky. AB just running down the Storm Spirit, while Paradox on the Chaos side managed to bring down the Viper. A huge fight for Sara, Kollo. They're looking for more, but they do not have the hook shot and are going to settle on a tier 1 tower instead. Sharky did have the Orchid complete, and now he's queued up the Yules. Winter Wyvern trying his best. Now he drops a decent Winter's Curse. Toad Boss is being pounded away by the Chaos Knight, but he's got a mech, even an own charge if I'm not mistaken. And the cover fire by the March and the Rockets will push back Artista as well as the Winter Wyvern. Khans at the end of it all went for a Shadow Blade over the Blink Dagger. I don't know. I just prefer the blink so much more on the Doom. I mean, you're getting a positioning item to get your Doom, and that's how I look at either the Shadow Blade or the Blink pickup, and the Blink is just a much better positioning item than the Shadow Blade. It's instant. True sight shouldn't bother you. All you need to do is blink in and try and get the silencer or the Tyrant out of the fight. But yeah, Reckoning Esports, they moved into the Rosh pit. I don't think the break from the Nether Toxin procs. Yeah, it doesn't proc on Roshan. Roshan can't be broken. But he can be bought down multiple times. Now, the disadvantage of Swords with Sara Kollo in the lineup is that they have huge cooldowns that they're working against. Like the Ravage, like the Global Silence. And I sense that Reckoning Esports are just trying to play around this. Move into the Rosh pit. Get Roshan when they don't have Ravage. Get Roshan when they don't have Global Silence. And maybe then group up. I saw that. He actually hookshotted onto the creeps. That's why his hookshot is on cooldown. He hookshotted onto the neutrals. AB. I mean, I didn't catch it on camera, but I heard it. And yeah, Reckoning Esports, they're going to get Roshan. I'm not sure he could have done much even if he hookshotted into the pit. Maybe a steal if possible. But yeah, that was ambitious at best. Paradox, the Sara Kollo Paradox has picked up the Echo Saber, is getting closer and closer to his blink. Toad Boss going for a blink of his own. And this is when the Shadow Blade on Khans is going to start to look useless. The Tidehunter is just going to have such a huge advantage in these team fights if he has a blink and the Doom doesn't. Sharky, Arcane Rune. We've seen what Storm Spirits have done in the past with that rune. Khan's now going for the BKB. Is that a mango since the beginning of this game? Might as well pop it and free up a slot if nothing else. Artista on the Kunga's got the Aether Lens, so that's going to help them in terms of initiation, more range to work with on the X marks the spot. A lot of Dire Vision coming out from Sara Kollo. This is Dire Vision. They look at the mid lane. They look at the river near the Rosh pit. They also have this deep ward that kind of looks behind the mid tier 1 in this part of the jungle. Yeah, a lot focused around the mid tier 1. I don't blame them. I mean, Sara Kollo, 25 minutes in, haven't taken a single tower. That's a cause for concern. All the tier 1s on the side of Reckoning Esports still stand. And this basically means that Sara Kollo to some extent are forced to play on their side of the map. So they're also getting less money from the map to some extent. And if Reckoning Esports just picks up a gem and kind of presses them further into their side of the map, ensures that they have no vision at all, they're slowly going to bleed them dry. And they should be able to get a lot of money in the process. They've got the Aegis now on Reckoning Esports, so I presume they'll be looking to take a couple of towers at the very least. Who's holding on to the Aegis? It's the Storm Spirit. So Sharky's got a license to go YOLO if need be. Dot on the Viper. Actually, let's do a quick item check. Dot has picked up the Hurricane Pike as well as the Blade Mail. He's also got a casual Blightstone. I don't know how much of a factor this Blade Mail will be. But yeah, has he gone for the spell Lifesteal talent? No, he actually went for the 20% attack speed on the Viper. Okay. Plus 20 attack speed, not 20%. Paradox on the Winter Wyvern. Searching for the Glimmer Cape. Khans going for the Shadow Blade, which I'm not a fan of. Atista's got the Aether Lens. Sharky's got the Orchid and the Kaya. Paradox, he's got the Blink along with the Echo Saber and the Armlet. I mean, if by some chance Sharky on that Storm Spirit is caught with his pants down in a Ravage or a Global Silence, the Chaos Knight should be able to bring him down very easily. AB and the Clockwork once got just a little bit of utility. No real big item just yet. And yeah, if you look at the foes, the Kunkka's done a lot better. Has Kunkka got a GPM talent early on? Oh, okay, they did away with his GPM talent altogether. So, but yeah, Artista just finding the farm across the map. Just doing a lot better in terms of money compared to the Clockwork. Toad Boss has got that mech on the Tidehunter. He is getting closer and closer to his Blink Dagger. Sathan on the Tinker. Sartan. Is that his name? I'm actually going to ping Sara Kollo and find out how we pronounce that. Sathan is what I'm going to assume it is for now. Has got the Blink, the Dagon, and the Kaya. Looking to just burst down heroes. I like the Dagon pickup. It's gonna help deal with the storm. It's gonna help burst down heroes like the Winter Wyvern or the Kunkka with a little bit of help from his team. While Hockey, he's just gone for the Treads and the Bracer, just trying to tank up and survive through these long engagements. Sara Kollo, I mean, they have to be careful now. They either defend their tier 2s, which might mean they could encounter a team fight. I'd hope that they do not commit too much, just to do with the Aegis and Sharky on the Storm Spirit. If they commit the Global and the Ravage just for the Storm Spirit, and somehow Sharky comes back, and he's obviously going to come back, and then you have to fight Reckoning Esports without your Global and your Ravage. So it's a bit of a tough decision here. Do you fight them, commit Global and Ravage, and hold on to your tier 2s? Or do you just wait for Storm's Aegis to time out? The good thing is that they don't really have to go looking for a fight. Tinker with the Mart spam should be able to hold off pushes. And basically all Sara Kollo have to do is now buy time so that the Aegis on the Storm Spirit gets wasted. They need to minimize losses, just hold on to their buildings. That should be the plan for them. Because, I mean, on paper, it's starting to come together for Sara Kollo. The team fight is ridiculous. The Ravage and the Global Silence is just too much. At this point, the Chaos Knight hits like a truck. And Reckoning Esports, they gotta be a bit careful. I mean, although they've taken more towers than their opponents, I do not want to say that they're in the driver's seat just yet. Anyway, mouse issues have been fixed. We're back with the game. Dot going for the Mjolnir on the Viper. Might help deal with those Phantasm illusions, the magic damage from the Mjolnir or the Maelstrom procs. But yeah, SK, they have popped a smoke. Now the scan did clip. So it seems as if Reckoning... Oh, Artista got with a hook shot, but he's got the X marks the spot. He's broken the smoke and he's gotten the hell out of there. Anyway, Global Silence committed. They do manage to catch the Winter Wyvern. Paradox brings down Paradox. But that's a Global Silence for a Winter Wyvern. And Reckoning Esports could just turn this around. They might need Sharky or they might need Khans to jump in. Now Khans, he has a Shadow Blade, not a Blink Dagger. So he can't just jump in and start the fight if he wants to. Sharky, he's getting the Yule Scepter going for a BKB altogether, which is a better pickup to some extent. Sharky needs to be careful. Chaos Knight right next to him. He zips forward for Hockey. He's got the Orchid. Hockey, can he tag a Shrine? He looks like he will be able to. While Sharky, low on mana, forced to run away. Khan just going in with the Shadow Blade. X marks his ball. Torrent, board, everything in the kitchen sink being thrown upon the Tinker, and they should get the kill. Khan even throws out the Doom on the Tinker, while AB with the Cox will end up going down. My apologies. It was the Doom on Toad Boss, preventing him from popping the Ravage. And Hockey left to die there by his team. Khans will still survive thanks to the Cold Embrace coming in at the very last minute. Beautiful Doom coming up from Khans, ensuring the Toad Boss on the Tide couldn't do much in that fight. And Paradox on the Chaos Knight does manage to find the tower somewhere across the map. 27 minutes in, 21-15 the score. Reckoning working with a small but significant net worth advantage. Sharky is going to go back to base and get pulled right back with the X marks the spot and a fresh new BKB in his inventory. The push is coming through from Reckoning. Still got the Aegis, a little bit of time to work with, but Toad Boss on the tide does have the Ravage. He has a Blink Dagger as well. This could go horribly wrong protecting Esports. Toad Boss goes in, but Sharky quick with the zip. Goes in, wants to bring down Hockey, but elsewhere Paradox manages to bring down the Winter Wyvern. He's moving on to Khans, who pops his BKB and runs for it. Toad Boss being controlled. Dot drops the Nether Toxin, but the damage just too much on the Chaos Knight. Dot will end up going down to the Tide Hunter, while Khans had enough in him to bring down the Chaos Knight. Sharky's Aegis consumed. What can he do here? He moves onto the Tinker, pulls him back with Electric Vortex, pops the Orchid, but will the Glimmer Cape keep him alive? Looks like it won't. They bring down the Tinker, they bring down the Chaos Knight, and they lose the Aegis, the Winter Wyvern, and the Viper. They can still keep pushing. Heck, Sharky's going in for more. He's jumped out up on the Tide, zips, zaps quickly, and brings down the Tide Hunter as well. The tier 3 tower will fall. And Sara Kollo, their base under siege. Tinker almost being a non-factor in these fights. Khan just hanging around with the Shadow Blade. They've gotten to tier 3. They could fall back, move towards the shrines, look at possibly Roshan number 2. Reckoning Esports, they are in the driver's seat. Artista has even just moved into the mid lane. He's got a 4-staff as well. And it's gonna help push Khans in and out of battle on that Doom if need be. Tasty regen rune in the top half of the river. Stun on the Tinker. I'm not even sure if he's getting to use that Dagon. Reckoning. They are preparing to take down the shrine, which does allow Sara Kollo access to the Rosh pit. Now Sara Kollo have a choice. We either fight them now, which would be ideal because you do not want to fight them after giving up a tier 2. Tinker keeping in. Sara Kollo just grouping up and moving together here. The shrine does end up falling. Dot has gone for the Solar Crest. The armor's gonna help versus the Chaos Knight, but is it enough? Mid lane though, Sharky needs to be careful. But he's popped his BKB, uses the Orchid on the Chaos Knight, baits out a Global Silence, and despite all of that, they still lose the Chaos Knight. They could lose more. Toad Boss needs to be careful. The Glimmer Cape is going to buy him time, but he's being controlled. The X marks the spot, the Torrent, the boat. None of them connect, but Sharky's here with the Electric Vortex, with the Zip, with the Ball Lightning. Toad Boss lets loose the Ravage, and Paradox on the Winter Wyvern, caught in the cogs. Khan's trying to run in, he's got the Doom, maybe dropping low, managed to bring down the Winter Wyvern, and he's looking for more. Khans pops the Shadow Blade. Have they got detection? They did force out a buyback on the Chaos Knight. Satan did manage to find Dot on the Viper and did bring him down quickly with the Dagon. Artista running away with the 4-staff. AB did have the battery assault, but was there a second too late. They lost the Winter Wyvern, they lost the Viper. They did manage to force out a buyback on the Chaos Knight, and they forced out the Global Silence. And the Ravage as well. Yeah. Sara Kollo just failing to execute to some extent. But Satan finds a solo kill on Khans. Just disrespecting the Tinker at this point. And they could find another tier 1 tower on the side of Sara Kollo. The second tier 1 tower of the game. Sharky on the top lane needs to be careful here. Satan could go in. Oh, Sharky zips in. He's caught Tinker, pops his BKB. The hook shot is there from AB. Buys the Tinker some time. Sharky just turns around, but AB has a Glimmer Cape. He should be fine. They did force out the BKB on the Storm Spirit, who's dropping low on HP and mana. Satan giving chase the Rocket Flare, giving vision. Tinker, is he going to commit? Looks like he won, but Paradox on the Chaos Knight is there. While the Winter Wyvern was too slow with the Cold Embrace or the Glimmer Cape to keep the Storm Spirit alive. Chaos Knight still giving chase here. And the Winter's Curse committed. Couple of Phantasm Illusions beating away on the real Chaos Knight. Paradox giving chase to the Winter Wyvern. The cold embrace is going to buy him time, but where's the follow-up? Dot is here on the Viper. The Viper strike committed, the Nether Toxin as well. They should be able to bring down the Chaos Knight, but the Glimmer Cape time and time again trying to keep the Chaos Knight alive. He's surviving on 45 HP, gets the urn from his clockwork and manages to escape. Khans trying to catch them on the retreat. Satan on top of the cliff. Khans, can he see him? Looks like he can't. Knows that Tinker is nearby, but there isn't much that he can do. They lost the Storm Spirit at the end of it all. They lost the Kunkka as well. And I'm getting this feeling that Reckoning to some extent are throwing away their lead here. Khans once again with the Shadow Blade, but this Dire Observer giving them a lot of information. You know, I'd honestly like to see them just picking up detection. Khans holding on to some dust. Heck, just pick up the gem. They've lost too many kills because of the Glimmer Cape. I honestly am not opposed to the idea to the Storm Spirit holding on to detection as well. Seems as if Artista is the only one holding on to detection here. I mean, the Chaos Knight survived in the previous engagement thanks to the Glimmer Cape on the Tinker. They're getting a lot of value out of these Glimmer Capes. This could come back to haunt Reckoning Esports. Shaki's got the Bloodstone complete on his Storm Spirit, and Winter Wyvern's picked up the gem. Now Reckoning Esports are getting a bit serious about things. They could be looking for the next Roshan. I know Viper Strike committed. Yeah, Dot just committed the Viper Strike, but he's okay with that. They're grouping up, looking for smoke, and on the hunt. The scan clips perfectly. They know to some extent where Sara Kollo are. Sara Kollo fighting with Ravage, fighting with Global Silence. How do Reckoning want to initiate? Sharky zips in. Orchid onto the Silencer. Ravage baited out. Silencer dropping low, but the Glimmer Cape keeping him alive. The Soul Burn isn't going to be enough. Global Silence comes out in the end. Sharky ends up falling, and Khans got with a hook shot. Paradox along with Satan will be able to bring down the Doom, and Dodge just runs into the march, gets off the Viper Strike, brings down the Tinker, but pays with his life as well. Artista, he's all by himself. Paradox could let loose the Winter's Curse, lets out the Cold Embrace instead, and he needs to be careful. He's the one holding on to the gem. Lets out the Winter's Curse. I mean, it's just delaying the inevitable here. There's a gem on the deck, and Reckoning Esports have completely thrown away the advantage. Short Boss still giving chase. He's got the gush, and they got detection. There was a dust popped on the low ground, but wasn't close enough from AB there. Beautiful stuff coming out from Sara Kollo. Storm zips in, wants to bring down the Silencer, but simply because he didn't have detection, didn't have enough to bring down the Silencer. And can't. The Shadow Blade not allowing him to be in battle quick enough. It's hurting him. I mean, if he had a blink, he could have sort of followed up, but he has to Shadow Blade and walk in from a mile. I mean, that's a huge problem, right? As a Doom with a Shadow Blade, there's no way you're going to be able to follow up after the Storm Spirit instantly. I also don't mind Artista using the X marks the spot on the Storm Spirit just to, you know, let him zip in, bait out the Global, bait out the Ravage, and maybe bring him right back. It could be one way that the Reckoning decides to approach that team fight. Instead of just having Storm zip in and die, he isn't getting the kill simply because he doesn't have detection. He's going in on the Silencer, which is the right thing to do. But not getting the kill because of not holding on to detection is costing Reckoning Esports heavily here. Sharky zips in again. He wants AB, doesn't have detection, will pay with... I mean, he's not going to pay, but... Okay, I was wrong. Paradox is here on the Chaos Knight. They're trying their best to bring down the Storm Spirit. And with the hook shot coming out from AB, they've got enough lockdown to bring him down. Storm Spirit respawns, dies, loses more Bloodstone charges, now down to 6 charges. And just like that, the momentum, the net worth has all swung back in favor of Sara Kollo. Reckoning throwing away their lead rather carelessly here. Roshan is possibly going to be the next point of contest. Yeah, I am seeing lines drawn across the pit. This is Sharky scribbling across the map. Not seeing much impact from the Winter's Curse in these team fights. Mostly wondering if Winter Wyvern was the ideal fight position here. I mean, not saying that Paradox on the Winter Wyvern has been mediocre on his Winter Wyvern, but I don't know. I'm not seeing the impact of the Winter's Curse in these team fights. The Kollo brace is there every now and then. But yeah, time and time again, the story of this game has been a lack of detection and a questionable item choice on Khan's going for the Shadow Blade over the Blink Dagger. There have been moments of brilliance, but there have been moments of sheer stupidity as well from Reckoning Esports. Anyway, folks, looks like I have a small break. The Tinker's internet is just acting up, and can all go get something to drink. Once again, for those of you just tuning in, this is the ESL India Premiership. You're watching the Masters League. The winner of this match will top phase 2 of the Masters League and will also take home 10,000 rupees. To give you perspective, 10,000 rupees is 1/10 of an iPhone X. ₹10,000 is 10 times the net income you can earn from esports in India. 10,000 rupees is a nice motherboard. 10,000 rupees is a lot of time in a cyber cafe in India. A lot of uses, lots of things you can do with 10,000 rupees. 10,000 rupees is an education, man. It's 2 years of college education in India. Anyway, looks like Tinker's back, and I'll have to hold on to my stories of what you can do with 10,000 rupees and maybe bring them up a little later. But yeah, 27-27. The score is tied. The net worth in favor of Reckoning Esports by 2,000, but this doesn't mean squat. Okay, just by virtue of the side lane pushing in, Reckoning Esports are going to get some time in the Rosh pit. They've got the Solar Crash, but they're not the best when it comes to taking down Roshan. Toad Boss puts the cooldown to his Ravage, 18 seconds. They're all moving towards the Rosh pit. This fight could pretty much decide the fate of this game. Maybe on the clockwork. Money close to his Axe Scepter. Can't see. This isn't going to work. He has a Shadow Blade, but can't go in and just doom the Silencer because, hey, Shadow Blade is not a Blink Dagger. And now they have to back off from Roshan. Vision reclaimed by Sara Kollo. Vision once again reclaimed by Reckoning. Problem is, AB can just keep throwing out these rocket flares. Satan now with a level 5 Dagon. That is going to hurt. It's going to hurt heroes like the Winter Wyvern. It's going to hurt the Viper to some extent. I honestly think somebody should be building a hood or a pipe here. So Shaki keeps pushing out the top lane while Reckoning keeps moving into the Rosh pit every now and then. And they're kind of making Sara Kollo choose, do we go and contest Roshan or do we defend top? The beauty of the Sara Kollo draft is that Tinker can defend top all by himself, while the rest of them can just hang around the Rosh pit. What Shaki would really like is a solo kill on the Tinker, which should be possible if he sees him. It's actually a possibility. I mean, without Glimmer Capes to keep the Tinker alive, I think Storm with the BKB should be able to bring him down. But Shaki on the Satan on the Tinker's been rather phenomenal with his positioning. Looks like we have a fight in the Rush pit. Khan's dropping low. That Shadow Blade not keeping him alive. The boat comes sailing through, but Paradox has had enough. He's moved in after Roshan. The Torrent is there. Viper from outside the pit. The Wind Toss Course is there. It controls all of them. The Age is picked up by the Storm Spirit. Somehow Reckoning are making this work. And Paradox in the pit manages to bring down Kunkka, but will fall. Will give away his streak. Shaki being controlled, being focused, but he's got the Aegis. He's absolutely okay with that. While Dot on the backlines manages to bring down the Tinker. AB all by himself. The Glimmer Cape is there, but it won't keep him alive. Reckoning Esports, they wipe out Sara Kollo in its entirety. They pick up the Aegis. Did they pick up the cheese as well? Okay, they've got the cheese as well. This is an invitation for them to go high ground and possibly put an end to this game. A phenomenal Winter Skulls coming out from Paradox there. And a neat turn coming out from Artista on the Kunkka to set things up in the pit. Forcing out a buyback on Satan. Now, Satan has a bit of a dilemma here. He's got to defend 2 lanes. I'd also like to see Shaki try and just bring down the Stinker before his teammates respawn. Shaki just gonna pound away on the tier 3. Dot has backed off. The tier 3 takes a fall. Shaki just zips in. He's jumped right on top of Hockey. Now Hockey does have a Glimmer Cape, but Shaki has a gem. And now it's all coming together for Reckoning. All they needed was True Sight. And instantly Shaki picks up another Bloodstone charge. He's low on mana, but he's got the cheese. Satan. Shaki, not gonna survive. Did try to toggle the cheese into his inventory from his backpack, but he ends up going down. They get a tier 3. This is getting them closer and closer to a lane of barracks. I'm wondering to myself if there are any items that can pick up that could actually help them go high ground. What is Shaki looking at? He hasn't bought anything in a while since the Bloodstone. He's queued up an ultimate orb. Is he close to Sheepstick? Okay, it seems to be the Lincoln Sphere for the Storm Spirit. It's gonna help him with the Sea Cave. So the Tinker to some extent, it keeps throwing out those Dagon 5s every now and then. Khans needs to be careful. Heck, they committed the Ravage. Khans just pops his BKB and runs away. Ravage on cooldown, and Reckoning Esports, they sense a window of opportunity here. They baited out the Ravage. Sara Kollo playing to their tunes. So, I do remember seeing Sara Kollo last year in an Indian tournament of this year. They had a slightly different lineup with Tensa, Zengetsu and whatnot. I mean, that lineup was something else, and I don't know, I'm probably going to try and have a word with them after the game and find out what happened. But yeah, Ravage baited out. Reckoning Esports just marching down the mid lane. Can they just siege through much? I don't think that's likely without a pipe. Now they're building a Lotus Orb on the Kunkka. It's going to be a while before it comes online. Khan's got that BKB. It's down to 8 seconds, so it's still half decent. They could just push the wave through mid and try and deal with another lane of barracks. I mean, go for another lane of barracks. Toad Boss gets the D1. X marks the spot on Shaki, who zips in, jumps right on top of the silencer, pops his BKB, has the gem, doesn't force out the global, which he can't because, well, silencer's been silenced. But Shaki used his own BKB there. Huh. I mean, if you've got X marks the spot upon you and nobody's got a Yules on the enemy side, you should be rather okay. If you get the Orchid off on the silencer, then come on, there's no global silence. How are they going to lock you down? Through X marks the spot. Anyway, Shaki's BKB used. It's now down to 5 seconds. But yeah, Reckoning Esports trying to work their way into Sara Kollo's barracks here. Paradox has the heart. I'm sure that item has a ridiculously high win rate on the Chaos Knight. Sharky. He's got the Lincoln Sphere complete. And drops a trail of remnants as he zips towards the bottom lane. 37 regen, second. Artista planting a Tinker ward. They're prepping to bring down the Tinker. This could be what they need to get the fight started. Not going for the AC, more armor to survive the Chaos Knight. Khan's holding on to the gem. That means once again Sharky's going to zip in aggressively and anyone follow up with vision instantly. This could mean that he could end up missing out on a kill if Clockwork does manage to get off that Glimmer Cape. Dot. I mean, he's done a good job of keeping up in terms of net worth. Mjolnir is going to help with the Phantasm illusions. Reckoning Esports looking for a way into the enemy high ground. The Tinker Ward is a start. Another Tinker Ward on the other side of the map could help as well. It seems as if they're trying to just wait out Roshan now. Sara Kollo with all this team fight, with the Ravage, with the Global Silence, their team fight has surprisingly been very ordinary. Paradox on the Winter Wyvern. Now is that Blink Dagger as well. He's got that Winter's Curse at the ready. Khans waiting patiently for the Tinker to DP. Satan still defending the top lane. Khan just praying that this Tinker Ward pays off. Artista is here as well. He's made his way with the Invis drone. Satan TP's back to the fountain. Rearms. They're all waiting for Tinker to show up. But yeah, Satan isn't taking the bait. I mean, that's bloody smart. I don't know how he senses this, but he hasn't moved to that lane in a while. Yeah, he's just got to prep the march in the safety of his base. This is where every Tinker feels like a boss when it comes to defending high ground. This is when all of them come into form and they have a lot of fun. Satan has also now got a BKB. So it's going to be okay with what the Storm is doing. Look at this. Smoke coming up from Sara Kollo. Sharky needs to be careful. Hook shot from AB. Paradox right on top of him. Pops the Lincoln Sphere. Sharky pops the BKB and zips away. Now Hockey's still got the Global Silence. AB needs to land another hook shot if they hope to make this happen. Khan's he's just got an AFK in the sidelines, in the trees, waiting for that Tinker. I think if you give this game another 10-15 minutes, this game could just swing back right in favor of Sara Kollo. Paradox with the heart. He is quite tanky now. Sharky's BKB was on cooldown. They could have turned, popped the global, maybe got the kill, but they didn't. Instead, they finally managed to bring down Satan. And that's 109 seconds without the Tinker. He's holding on to buyback, so he might have to if he hopes to defend his barracks here. Okay, the siege begins and this is where Tinker buys back. Maybe he buys back after the Ravage, after the Global Silence. Khan just running in. Sharky zips forward. He's jumped in on top of Hockey and they got enough to deal with the Silencer. Looks like they have. The Shivers got popped. The Soul Burn from the Orchid enough. Khan's caught in the cogs, but at this point, the Doom means nothing. Hockey on the Silencer does have buybacks, but his barracks have been brought down. On the backlines is the Ravage from the Titan to Paradox, dropping low, ends up falling to the Viper. The Ravage didn't do much, and now Sharky's here to clean up. He's jumped on top of Toad Boss. Buybacks ensue from the Sara Kollo's lineup as they buy back on the CK as well. But Paradox, without the Ravage, without the Silencer, there's not much he can do. Without the Global Silence, Sharky's moved on to the mid lane. And bit by bit, they're going to start losing barracks. Tinker needs to try and hold on. Backlines, I do hear a reality rift. Artista needs to be careful. Drops the torrent. They are controlling the Chaos Knight. Dot from range with the Mjolnir pounding away. Paradox on the Winter Wyvern gets the kill. Dot gets hit by the Dagon, but doesn't really care. X marks the spot. Torrent on AB while Sharky's got it on the backlines. He's having a lot of fun with the Silencer. Brings him down. The X marks the spot and the Torrent will only set up for a kill on the Clockwork. Another buyback on the Clockwork, but I really don't think a Clockwork and a Tinker are enough to hold on. Sharky pounding away on the tier 3. The tier 3 takes a fall. The barracks naked and open in the top and the middle lane. The Winter Wyvern does end up going down to the hookshot, but Sharky is zipped in deep. He's popped his BKB. He's low on mana. The Glimmer Cape, is it enough? The urn. AB trying his best to keep the Tinker alive. Thankfully, there's not a dieback on the Clockwork, and now Sharky on the Storm Spade needs to be careful. Hookshot coming out from AB, and Satan with the Dagon will get the kill. But Dot, meanwhile, he's got another lane of barracks. The Tide Hunter respawns, and finally the Viper shows a little bit of mercy and just heads back to base. AB on the Clockwork though. Could he catch anyone? He's got the hook shot. He's got Viper. AB, you beast. But is it really going to make a difference? Dot turns around. The X marks the spot. The boat to cover the retreat, and RT start running in. Why not? He's got Khans in the vicinity, who's dropped the Doom on Tinker, and with a little bit of help from Artista will get the kill. AB tries to hook shot the hell out of there. Drops the cogs. Pushes back Khans, pushes back Artista. GG, well played is called. And Reckoning Esports will top phase 2 of the ESL India Premiership. Phenomenal game coming out from them. Sara Kollo, it felt at points as if they had a lead, but they were just struggling. They gave up too many towers. They failed to take any objectives. The Ravage on the Global Silence wasn't enough of a factor in these team fights for Reckoning Esports. And some phenomenal play all around coming out from Reckoning Esports. Anyway, folks, that's it as far as today's Dota 2 broadcast is concerned. My name is Vivek. You can find me at facebook.com/VivekCasting. That's VEEWAK casting. You're watching the ESL India Premiership. Thank you and see you soon.
Alright, so Reckoning taking the top position on the leaderboard for now, securing that 10,000 rupee prize pool and the pride of being on top of that leaderboard in phase 2 of the winter season of the ESL India Premiership. From tomorrow onwards, we're going to have the promotion relegation games for Dota 2. We're coming live to you again at 6:30 PM IST. If you guys have missed out any games and want to check them out, you can head out to our ESL India YouTube channel. You can even subscribe to us to get a notification when we come live to you daily with all the fun from the ESL India Premiership. Premiership. If you guys haven't registered till now on the ESL India Premiership side and want to take part in the third phase of the winter season, you can head on to the ESL India Premiership website and register with us to start your journey in it with the Starter Cup. I'm your host Angela, and this event is brought to you by Omen by HP's BenQ, HyperX, and Tel, and organized by Nodwin Gaming. I hope you guys had a great time watching, because we love bringing these games to you. And I will see you all tomorrow, same time, 6:30 p.m. IST. Till then, good night and keep gaming.
There you go running again.